Well, the team news is that we have, of course, uncertainties about Monreal, who had to come off last week, and about Gibbs. Vermaelen is back in the squad. Özil is back in the squad and available, and that's all.
Monreal's a foot injury, is that correct?
Monreal is a foot injury, and Gibbs is a muscle injury.
So if Vermaelen's available, is there a possibility of him covering at the left back position?
If needed, he can do it.
Just how tough are Stoke away still? It was traditionally a tough game. Is it still as tough
It's
as
always in the Premier League. It's like that. You need to be at your best to find that the resources to win the game, and it's a big game for us. And of course, the weekend we want to focus and get the 3 points. We got 3 points against Sunderland, who is as well a very tricky team, and we want to do it again against Stoke.
And there's a little opportunity with Man City not playing there in the Capital One Cup, so there's a possibility of just a little gap.
Look, we have to look at our results, just focus on that and not speculate too much, because we are in a period where you have to move forward.
You say if necessary, Thomas could play at left back. Would that be an opportunity for you to give him a game, given that he's been patient?
Look, my opportunity is just to put the best team out who can win the game. You know, it's not about individuals; it's about the team. If needed, Thomas can play there, and it's not his preferred position, and he has been out for a long time now. But we'll see. I have still 48 hours to make that decision.
You've given the players some time off this week. That's quite unusual for you, isn't it?
No, you know, we came out of a very heavy schedule. Some time off. We had 2 days off. That's all.
Do you feel that some of the players are tired? Maybe Ozil in particular?
No, sometimes it's not only physical; it's mental. You know, you're always under pressure to perform, and sometimes for the players to stay for 2 days in the family. There's nothing unusual there.
What do you think of Joel Campbell's performance this week?
He was good, convincing in going forward. He looks like he has adapted a bit better to the physical side of the European game. And we knew always that he had the talent to create something special. He did a bit rely too much on that, you know. And he has now been out in 3 different clubs. He was in Lorient, he was in Sevilla at Real Betis, and now at Olympiacos, and he has learned the toughness of the European leagues.
Does he have an immediate future with Arsenal?
I will decide that later. Why not? You know, we bought him to bring him here.
Can I ask you about England? First of all, I read that they won't be training at Colney as usual this time in preparation for Denmark. Is that correct?
I don't know. Usually they come here, and they're always welcome.
Do you expect Alex to be called to the squad?
Yes.
Why?
Why not? That's why there's no obvious reason, because Chamberlain has done extremely well with us, has been decisive in many games, and has shown that he's on the way up, and I couldn't imagine him not being in the squad.
Can I ask you about the triple jeopardy? Both Platini and IFAB are talking about it being scrapped, i.e. Hunter Chesney, the sending off, the penalty, and the one game ban. Just it to become...
I agree with that. It's a shame that we have to be a part of the experience to realize that it is not right.
And just finally from me, what do you make of Robin's comments in the mix zone this week? He said that other players were in his zone. Is that something you...
I didn't hear it, and I wouldn't like to comment on comments that I haven't heard.
Okay, Steve?
Arsene, you said last week that you weren't sure whether Ozil was over the penalty miss, and I suspect that's part of the reason why you left him out. Do you think he's now over it, and is he ready to start?
Yeah, he had a difficult game, and because he missed that penalty, and it was on his mind. And sometimes when you're under this kind of pressure, it's good to refresh.
Is it, as you talked about it being a question of both physical and mental rest, the reason you gave the guys the 2 days, which is the most important at this stage for you? Was it because the players were physically tired, or there was just that?
No, it's not necessarily fatigue, what you call fatigue. They could run on Sunday and Monday where they were off. I don't see why that suddenly is a problem. Many clubs have 2 days off sometimes. We played since beginning of December. We don't have to justify here why we have 2 days off.
Right. In terms of the top of the Premiership,
It's unbelievable.
Just in terms of the top of the Premiership, just 4 points.
Look, we are in a society where everybody wants to control everything. I don't understand this question at all.
I think it's just because it's unusual.
Yes, it's
It's said to be
unusual.
unusual for you, Arsene. I don't
Well, we are entitled to do unusual things.
Yeah, sure. Top of the Premiership, Arsene. 4 points separate the top four. Do you see this part of the season as being the time when maybe one's going to drop off? Because normally it's a sort of 2-horse, maybe 3-horse race, isn't it?
Look, it's very tight. Liverpool is in the race as well. Liverpool has an advantage because they it's the only competition they play in, you know. And but overall, it will be very tight. I hope until the end, because that means it will be interesting until the end, and that means as well that if you're consistent, you have a good chance to win it.
And in terms of going to Stoke, I mean, obviously you've had your upsets there with what happened with Aaron a few years ago. Is it one of your least favourite places to go, the type of football that they used to play?
It's a good question. We had some bad memories. We had as well some good memories. You know, it is a stadium where before, first of all, the pitch was narrow and difficult to play, as well a bit more open to the wind. But at the end of the day, we have shown as well recently that it's down to the performance of the day. If we perform on Saturday, that is only all feelings. What is important is how well do you play on Saturday afternoon when the kick-off starts.
So you feel better about it now than perhaps you did a couple of years ago?
Yes, because we went to sometimes to Stoke with a very rough style, with a very young team. Of course, it was difficult, but they have good players, Stoke. They had always good players, and they've shown that with their position in the league. Let's not forget that with Tony Pulis, they qualified for Europa League, and that is never only down to the style of play, it's as well down to the quality of the players.
Okay, finally, Kevin. A lot of talk in the last few days about Champions League and whether the English teams are on the slide the last couple of years. What's your take on it? Is it circumstance rather than a sliding standard? What would you say?
It's one game, you know, and very different opponents. I believe, first of all, you have not to realize that all the 4 teams came out of a group stage. That means that the level is there. After, on one game, you cannot judge a general trend. Man City played with 10 men, Arsenal played with 10 men, Man City played against Barcelona, Arsenal played against Bayern Munich, who is world champion. Of course, you know that with 10 men it will be a difficult game. After that, the other 2 teams are still in positions, Chelsea and Man United, where they can turn the result around. So let's wait until the end of the second game before speaking about a trend of strength or weakness.
So no great crisis for the Premier League. No great crisis for the Premier League, as some might have been promoted.
No, I think the Premier League, honestly, I think it's the most difficult league in the world because it's the league where the level is really good from the first to the 20th position. And it's the only league in Europe who has that. And after that, as we know, when you play against, there are 10 other teams in Europe who can beat the Premier League teams.
Okay, finally, Peter.
Hi. What do you think of the job that Mark Hughes is doing at Stoke? What's he doing to kind of change their brand of football? And is he doing so? They've picked up more fouls than any other team in the league. They've got the most cards. Is he he done much to change the football there?
Every manager has his own style, and he tries to bring in his own style. He's a manager who has a big experience now in the Premier League, has shown that he can do well anywhere he was. So overall, I think given time, he will print his own style of play, yes.
Finally, we sat here at the beginning of February, just before the Liverpool League game, and you said that you wouldn't comment on the title chase until the end of the month. Is there a comment from you now?
Are we already at the end of the month?
Yeah. 1 day to go.
1 day to go, so we are not at the end of the month.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, guys.
Arsenal, I've got 2 days off now, by the way.
That's a scandal.